Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. Happy middle of the weekday. Hopefully we'll have Blackie in here later. And if anybody else wants to come up, there is a link pinned to the top, I believe. Oh, I'm going to play this. And let's see who we got in here. So hello, Grasshopper. Hi, Frank. Mickey M. I hope you'll stay awake long enough to say hi. Hi, Nona. And I think that's everybody in here right now, so we'll just kind of have to wait for people to show up. Hey, Boots, Cats. Hello. And Joe, hello, Joe. Welcome to my stream, my sad little stream. And we're just kind of waiting for people to show up right now. And I got some of my art showing so that I'm not like, my face isn't taking up the whole screen. Let's see who else we got here. And I think that's everybody in here right now. So, and like I say, I think Blackie will probably show up later. I haven't seen him yet today, so I don't know. I hope so. And just kind of waiting for people to show up. So how are you doing, Joe? Let's see. Yeah, we don't have very many people in here yet, so I'm just kind of waiting. Oh, I'm good. Good enough anyways. Yep, it's Joe is from Frostmar, yes. Yes, indeed he is. So do you have any pets or fish tanks or anything, Joe? You're one of the best mods, Grasshopper, you know that. You have a dog. What kind of dog do you have? Grasshopper's got a cute dog named Amy. Boots, Cats, do you have pets besides your fish tanks? You have a cat? What a surprise. I figured you'd probably have a cat. I have 2 cats and a little dog right now. A Maltipoo, so a Maltese and a poodle. I have like a Chihuahua cross right now. I had a German Shepherd, but he passed away a couple years ago, and then I wasn't going to get another dog. And I decided, as old as I am, I didn't want to get another big dog, and I just happened to see this little star at the local pound. So I got her, and she's like a Chihuahua cross and weighs about 4.5 pounds. Divine, hi, I haven't seen you for a little bit. How are you doing? Mickey M, hey. 5 a.m. Oh my gosh. If you are like still awake at 5 a.m. and not just waking up, you probably won't make it too much longer. And if you're getting up at 5 a.m., you're crazy. I would rather stay up all night at 5 a.m. than actually get up at 5 a.m. I'm doing okay, Divine. I'm doing okay. I was going to try to have an auction tonight, but I had some problems with my desk lamp going out. I couldn't work at night, so I got a new desk lamp and back to work now, but I'm not quite ready for the auction, so I'll probably do it tomorrow night because I need to catch up with my rent by tomorrow. So you got a new, did you start a new channel? Yeah, a lot of times I'm up until like 2 or 3, 4. Sometimes I'll even be up, like when I'm really working on something, I'll be up until like 7 or 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of a sad thing, I know. But I never like go to bed and then get up at 5 a.m. That just is not going to happen. Just isn't going to happen. Well, Macho, hello. I didn't expect you to show up tonight. Thank you for coming. Lots of Frostmare people coming tonight. That's nice. If anybody wants to come up and join me, I can. If anybody wants to come up and join me, there is a link posted at the top. And Brian, hello, Brian. And Mr. Green, too, hello. Look at all these people coming over from King Frostmare. It is a Frosty raid. Yep. Indeed. Now I'm kind of like self-conscious. I should have got myself like fixed up better if I would have known all these people are going to come over just to see how old I look. Cat Mac. So how is everybody doing tonight? I'm just kind of up here passing time, waiting to see if anybody shows up to join me in my stream. And I just got some of my art going while we're kind of waiting, just to kind of take up space. Remember to put your frosty finger on the like button. Yes, that's always a good idea. Wait a minute, you know some people here? Yeah, you do. Well, welcome everybody to my stream. Make sure that you subscribe. Is Rich coming? He said he was going to, but I haven't seen him yet. You and Sis are sharing the night watch. Oh, you don't have to find him, Cat. If he doesn't want to come, he doesn't have to, that's for sure. He was waiting on you. Oh, there he is. Hi, Rich. I know Blackie takes care of his mom and dad too, Mickey, but he might be busy right now because I haven't seen him even see the link that I sent him like a couple hours ago. He hasn't even like logged in, so hopefully he'll be coming in though. Well, if you guys need anything scary to look at, I'm kind of like right up here in the corner of the screen. So if that doesn't scare you, nothing will. I miss riding two boots, but I am just flat too old for that shit now. And I really miss my horse that I had years ago. She was really a good horse, but you know, I was never that wild about riding strange horses, but I really loved riding my horse. Mr. Green is the ringleader. Oh, a lot of these are just little tiny, like these you're looking at right now are just like little teeny tiny little cards, like the size baseball cards. Some of them are bigger drawings. Oh, thank you, Macho. Buffalo butt. Yep, there is some of those in there. This is a little bit different set of drawings than I usually like. I've got like several different videos with different drawings in them. So you started a new channel at the beginning of January. What are you doing on your new channel? I don't know if I'm subscribed to you. I should make sure I am. I know I'm subscribed to Mr. Green. And I think I'm subscribed to you, but I'm going to go check and make sure. Oh. Go to channel, okay. I wasn't subscribed, but I am now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like doing horses. You've never been artistic, but was able to write short stories. That's pretty cool. I can't write a story for shit, so I admire that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Kat. Still have not seen Blackie show up at all yet. If anybody wants to come up and say hi, there's a link pinned to the top, and all you got to do is click that and follow directions, and you could come. You won a school contest in middle school for writing short stories. That is pretty awesome. I used to have like little trophies and stuff from school for my art, but I never, like I said, I can't write for shit. My kids are good at writing though. You may have to get a little painting. Well, tomorrow night, I think either tomorrow night, yeah, I better do it tomorrow night because I got to pay my rent. I might have a little tomorrow night. I've got a couple of things that I'm working on. I think my mom threw away all my trophies and stuff. She was never much for keeping keepsakes like that. So, yeah, I'm sure Kat or someone will let you know, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a stream tomorrow night because I kind of got to. And I will have a few things for sales there. I know I've got I got a big drawing of a buffalo, and I'm going to have a bunch of small ones, and I got a little tiny wood duck that I'm almost done with right now, a female wood duck. Am I going to the Findig? What's a Findig? In Sacramento? No, I'm not going to be in Sacramento on Saturday. Oh, it's in June? Oh, I don't know. I doubt it, though. June 22nd and 23rd. That's my birthday, the 23rd. Yep, I do butts. I have never done an ocean painting. No. I did some I've done a few landscapes, but I've never done an ocean one. But boy, I love a good ocean painting. There's some really beautiful artists out there that do nice oceans. Okay, Kat. I hope you feel good. Thanks for stopping by, Kat. I wasn't there at the house when they packed the house up and they left my can of collectibles. Yeah, that sucks. I think mine just got thrown out because my mom was kind of like that. But then I can't blame her because I've gotten so many certificates and blue ribbons and shit all throughout my life and at different art shows and stuff. And I don't think I have any of them left either. I think I tossed them all. The King Frostmare one, yeah, that's the Frostmare TV one. There's never anybody in there. I mod that all the time, and it's like over $1,000 loss. That sucks. I had what was I starting to say? Oh, the worst thing that I lost in my life. Okay, Mr. Green, thank you for stopping by. Was many years ago. One of my exes decided to clean out my storage in the garage while I was at work one day. And I didn't realize for a couple weeks that he had thrown away a box that had all of my kids' photographs, like their school photographs and everything. He threw it away. And I was so upset. I had none of my kids' pictures left, and I hadn't given them like all their school pictures throughout the years and stuff. Plus, there was a couple photographs that were reference photographs for paintings that I wanted to do that got thrown away, and I could never find them again. So, yeah. But I felt so bad because I didn't have any of my kids' pictures to give them. They were all in that box. And then when I moved from Cape Cod to Montana, and I was going through, I had slides. I used to take slides all the time for reference photos for my paintings and stuff. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to paint. Oh, we're done with that one. I guess we'll just like show myself here. Scary. But anyway, I started going through the slides looking for something that I wanted to paint. And I started finding pictures of the kids mixed in them, in the slides of the kids riding their horses and stuff like that. So this was about, it was in about October, I think. So I started pulling, like in secret. I wouldn't let the kids see what I was doing, but I started pulling pictures of them out, all the slides, and I sent them off to a place to get prints made of all, like there was like something like 200 pictures. But yeah, I sent them off to get prints made of all of them. Hi, Mojo. And then I made each of the kids like a photo album full of pictures of them growing up. And for Christmas that year, and I'm normally really bad about keeping a surprise like that, but I managed to not say anything. And each of my kids got a photo album of pictures of them growing up. And they were actually crying because, like I say, all their school photos and stuff got thrown away. So they didn't really have many pictures. And like, I know my son, especially Tucker, he opened his up and started crying. And it was like a pretty cool Christmas present. So that was a fun thing. Um, I should find another video. Let me see what else I got here. I don't want to play the same ones that I always play, but I've got some. I should have some ACEO cards. I've got a couple of just little cards, which are like baseball size, just little tiny drawings. I'll show you one of them. Nope, I gotta get rid of the sound. There we go. Oh no, that's wonderful. It's good to see you guys in here. I say these are all just really simple little tiny drawings, so don't look too hard at them, because like I say, they're like the size of baseball cards, and not the best photographs of some of them. So, but they're just simple little drawings. Does nobody want to come up here with me? If you somebody wanted to come up with me, then you wouldn't have to look at the art. The more the better. That's right. That's right. The more people in here, the more fun it is. And I kind of feel silly up here by myself. Usually I have at least a couple people up with me, but tonight, not yet. Nobody's up here. Everyone's afraid of my beauty, all right. I'm older than dirt. You guys know that. Yeah, right. I could pass for being a teenager. I am 68, going to be 69 this summer, so I don't have any delusions about what I look like. You're too bashful to come up. Step by step guide. I need to do that one of these days, Grasshopper. That is for sure. Because that heart is annoying. You're 48 and everybody thinks I'm 30. Well, I am 68 and everybody thinks I'm 88. So there you go. Cat, cat, cat. Well, enjoy it while it lasts, Rich, because I have not been carded for many, many years. You're 44 and too scary looking? Sure, sure. So what has everybody got going on? Anybody got going on anything exciting? You have a gray beard and you get carded. Gold Nugget Tetra, hello, hello, how are you? I should give away something. As soon as this little bit of art is done, I'll do a little giveaway. I've got one card sitting here that I could give away, I think. You see here. One. Oh, yeah, I got a little hot card to give away. That's right. That's right. That's right, Grasshopper. You got to have the lower quality so I don't scare everybody to death. It's still nothing from Blackie. Not very nice, but totally truthful. You know that, right? Okay, that one's done. We'll remove that one. And we'll do a little giveaway, which is, and you'll have to excuse, like, my hair is still wet from taking a shower, so that's why it looks so weird. But we'll do one giveaway tonight, and then I'll plan tomorrow night when I do like another stream and try to sell some stuff. I will do more giveaways too. But the way that we do the giveaways is I do a random number generator. And we usually do, everybody, wait, don't start typing numbers till I finish telling you what to do. But we usually do a pick a number between 1 and 75, and then whoever comes closest without going over is the winner. And I wait till I say start, and then when I end it, then I show the screen, the random number generator, and like pull up a number in front of everybody so we know it's totally random and I didn't just pick somebody. Closest without going over wins. Yep. And I'm going to type start. Oh, wait. First, I'll show you the drawing that I'm going to give away. This is a little ACEO card of a red-tailed hawk. So that's what we will give away tonight. And if you win, you got to make sure to send me your address, your mailing address, so I can mail it. So, yep, this is it. We're going to give away a little drawing of a red-tailed hawk. And sorry, my camera's real shitty and doesn't really show them very good, but yeah, that's what we're going to give away. Okay, so I'm going to type start, and everybody pick a number between 1 and 75, and whoever can come closest without going over will be the winner. Let me type start. And okay, everybody put in a number. 69, huh? And if there's a tie, like right now, Sandy and Macho both said 37. So if there's a tie, then we do another drawing between whoever ties. Like usually like a runoff deal. So we'll see how that goes. Well, thank you. Throw out a number if you want to win that little drawing, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are, because these little drawings are small enough to where I just like I can send them anywhere with just an international stamp, which isn't that big of a deal. So I just drop them in a card and send them. I've sent them all over the place. So throw out a number. Grasshopper always gives number 1, and he's actually won it a couple times doing that too. Well, you should throw out a real number, Rich, so that you have a chance to win, because it doesn't like it's free. Nothing wrong with getting a free drawing. Someday they might actually be worth something. Who knows? I'm actually not unknown. We'll just say that. It's like, yeah. I used to do shows and stuff a lot, like, and I've won a lot of different placings in different shows. You want to hawk? Okay, does everybody have a number? Is it how many numbers? We got enough numbers out there? Oh, it looks like we got quite a few, so. Where is Trash Cat tonight? I haven't seen her. I haven't actually seen her for a little while. I hope she's doing okay. Okay, I'm going to type stop. So anybody who hasn't put out a number yet, throw one out real quick. Okay, I'm going to type stop. Yeah, I think that's it too, huh? Oops. Somehow I forgot how to spell stop. Actually, I just hit the wrong buttons. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I haven't seen her around on Discord or anything either. Okay, so I'm going to go, hang on, I'll pull up the random number generator. There. Oh, I see Blackie. Hang on. Throw out a number really quick.
Oh, 64.
Okay. So we'll do Blackie with number 64.
You didn't have to include me.
Well, you showed up just in time. I was just pulling up the random numbers generator, so. Okay, random number generator, share a screen, and we got to do the drum roll. That's my drum roll. As sad as it is, that's it. Okay, this is it, guys. Number 48. So whoever comes closest without going over, we got number 48 is the winner. So Grasshopper, I'm going to leave it to you to go back and see who's closest to number 48 without going over. Actually, I'm kind of scrolling backwards too. Oh, Boots got 50. That's too high. Divine has 33.
Brian Griffin,
37.
42.
Sandy and Macho both have 37. Oh, Brian has number 42. That's closest so far that I see. Is that going to be it? Did
I'm not
Brian
sure.
win?
Divine says I'm 44 and too scary looking, but I'm not sure if that's his number.
Hi, Daniel.
Oh yeah, there's age talk back before. I've got that echo again.
Okay, anybody want to skip back really quick and see if anybody was closer than Brian at 42?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that Rich and Divine were talking about ages, not bids or number guessing.
Yeah.
And I can see no one closer than 42.
Yep, I think that 42 is it. I think Brian is the winner of the Hawk. So, yep, send me an email with your mailing address.
What was the prize?
Oh, it's a little drawing of the Hawk.
Ah, right, Hawk, right. Nice. Good score, Brian.
So, let me see here.
And
So, what are you up to tonight?
to everyone in chat. Hello there, everybody. What am I up to tonight? As little as possible. It's still very humid and gross. No, it certainly wasn't as hot today as the previous few days again, so it's very nice. But yeah, by this time in the afternoon, the humidity is just intolerable. It's hideous. And yeah, the same thing happened last time. The echo disappeared after a little while.
We got up to like 51 degrees today.
Almost summer.
Yeah. And it's like 28 right now, which is like unseasonably warm for Wyoming in February or January. And we have a bunch of people from, oh, that's sweet, Brian, but no, I'm going to send it to you. Send me your mailing address. So we have a bunch of people from the King Frostmare stream in here tonight. Blackie, we have Rich Sykes and Divine, of course, and Brian Griffin. And who else is still in here? That's right, I'm a hermit. I never go out on the street. And Joe Rogan, if he's still in here, I think he is.
Very famous person to have in.
Yeah.
What is it actually?
Joe Rogan's passing.
Passing. We all do sooner or later.
Yep, Joe's still here. So yeah, we had like earlier, I think some of them have left. We had like 10 people from the King Frostmare stream were in here.
Did you see what Brian said?
What?
Pam, please take that picture and give it to someone you see on the street that may need cheering up.
Yeah, but I never go out, so.
Yeah, I was going to say one must first go on the street.
That's right. So you might as well send me your address, or it'll just sit here forever. You're from Frosty and Nukes and Slapped Ham.
Slapped ham. What on earth is slapped ham?
That is another like paranormal stuff.
Uh-huh.
So how are your baby platies doing?
Yes, pretty good. I found a couple of really nice tiny little ones that are black with shiny, silvery, goldy looking heads.
Oh, cool.
I really hope they survive and keep that colouring. They look fantastic.
I think they're platies are usually whatever color they're born. I mean, that's what color they're going to be. You can usually tell what color they are right away.
Well, I mean, they're swordtails first and foremost, and not platies, but same thing, I guess.
Oh, they're swordtails? Okay, I thought they were platies.
And I always thought that most live bearers had no colouring and took, a month before they started showing their colours, but not the case with a lot of my little ones.
Yeah, I know platies. I used to have platies, and they were always like, they would pop out whatever color they were going to be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that would make sense. I know that's the way it was with guppies, but guppies is pretty much the only live bearers that I've ever bred before. So platies and swordtails being very similar fish, it wouldn't surprise me that they're coloured up as soon as they're born. Yeah, I scooped a whole bunch of duckweed out of there last night, and then I thought to myself that was quite silly because the babies are using it for cover. And I didn't even check to see if I'd scooped babies up with the duckweed, but I put the duckweed in one of my buckets with plants and stuff. I just put all the duckweed in there. And, if there's any, they'll survive in there, I guess. We'll see. Yeah, it's been that gross and humid and stuff. The only reasonable time to do any fish tank work is like between 10 o'clock and midnight. That's when it's cool enough to be out there.
Oh, Macho's still in here too. He's also from King Frostmere. Awesome.
It was awesome to see a bunch of people come over from there for the giveaway.
Yeah.
And did you auction anything tonight as well?
No, I'm going to do an auction tomorrow night because I've got some stuff going, but that's not quite done yet. Yeah. And I would wait till Saturday, except that tomorrow's the 1st, and I'm going to be in trouble if I don't get some rent raised.
Yeah. So.
Unfortunately.
Pardon me.
You're debating on 2 different surgeries for yourself? I lost track of what is going on in the chat. Dick Sykes being a great name. And then Rich says it's a great name, but my blood father called me that, and I dislike him very much. But I'm okay if you calling me that. And what is going on with you, Divine? I missed that.
Yeah. Colostomy bag territory. Brian has sent his address.
All right, good. Oh, and I got it. Yay.
Yes, hopefully indeed, Divine. What's Johnny Pemberton?
Umbilical hernia and
Go on, have a go. Diverticulitis.
Oh, you can say that. I can't say that.
That is where you get little nodules growing in your intestinal tract.
Oh,
and
ouch.
Generally, if they can't just laser the nodules, if the nodules have grown into tumors and stuff, they generally have to remove the section of your intestine that's it's full of. So you might lose 6 or 7 inches of intestine, and while that heals up, you generally got to have a stoma put in your side for a bag to be attached to until it heals up. But yeah, if Divine says the surgeon told me today that both are still elective, so potentially it hasn't progressed far enough to have a part of the colon removed.
Well, he says that that both are still elective. It just doesn't sound pleasant at all. Well, I hope that you can get by without surgery, or it'll go away and get better. Or if that isn't an option and you have to have surgery, I hope it goes well and you heal very fast. The only surgery I ever had was getting my gallbladder removed, and that was not fun. You gamble all? I think you're on the wrong stream, Grasshopper.
Yeah, I've never had any surgery either. I don't consider tooth extraction surgery.
3 months off of work. My gallbladder surgery, they told me was going to be just like a day surgery. Jeffro, oh my gosh, you should come up and say hi. There is a link at the top if you want to come up and say hi. And you've had 35 plus surgery. Oh my God, that sucks.
Righty. That does
and my
suck.
gallbladder surgery was supposed to be, they told me it was going to be like basically a day surgery. Like you go in and they said the surgery would be about 45 minutes and then a couple hours recovery time, and I'd have to have somebody there to drive me home. So I went in and the surgery was 7 fucking hours. and they wouldn't let me go home. And I was like in the hospital for a week. And then they told me that, oh, hello. I got all kinds of people coming in here tonight. Allie is also from the King Frostmare stream. Hello.
Seems
and
like she's
anyway,
playing
then I
along
had to have another surgery to remove stones out of my liver. So they told me that there was a really good doctor that could do that, like go down your throat and with this, like a tube down your throat and into your stomach and blah, 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 until they could get to the liver. And they said it was just like not that big of a deal. And they had a really good surgeon for that. And I thought, okay, great. When can he do it? And they said, well, we got to send you to Colorado, to the hospital in Colorado. So, and I'm in Wyoming. So I was like, okay. So they like drove me down there in an ambulance, and he was right. It was like the guy did the surgery and he told me I could go home that night. And I'm like, that's great. My truck is in Laramie and I have no way to get home from Colorado. So
yes,
yeah.
they don't think of that when they're transporting you by ambulance, do they?
Yeah, they don't really care. So yeah, so I finally got my daughter to she had to take a day off work to come get me and take me home. So that was fun. And then instead of having like the surgery was supposed to be 3 holes in my stomach where they go in and stuff, just with their camera and tools and stuff to remove my gallbladder. It was supposed to be 3 holes in my stomach and then out the same day. And instead it was like 6 holes in my stomach and a 7-hour surgery that I guess they were showing to everybody in the hospital because the nurses said it was like in the break room and everybody was watching it during their breaks. It's like, what the hell? I have a famous gallbladder.
It was your first live stream.
Yeah, that was a good live stream. Oh, yeah. It was like, that's the only surgery I've had though, so I guess I can't complain too much. But yeah, it did not go as planned. We'll just put it that way. And then, the minute that I got home, I was working at the convenience store, and the boss started calling me every day to see if I was ready to go back to work yet. I told him, well, because he was desperate, and I was like, well, I suppose I could go, but I can't get on my work pants or anything. So, oh, I did have one time. I had a it was kind of a surgery, I guess. I got out of it was when I was still at home living at my parents' house. And I was like 18, 19, 18, I think. And I got out of the shower one night and I felt a little like prick on the bottom of my foot. And I sat down and lifted my foot up and looked at it, and there was like a thread coming out of it.
Oh, shit.
Like a needle and thread, but the needle was totally inside my foot.
All right.
So I had to go to the hospital in St. Helens, which is well known to not be a good hospital as in Oregon. And yeah, when I got out of the car, my mom drove me to the hospital, and when I got out of the car, I stepped on the thread and unthreaded the needle.
See you later, Rich. Good talking to you.
So they see you, Rich. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, anyway, I got out of the hospital and unthreaded the needle. And yeah, the hospital in St. Helens, at least when I was a kid, it was really bad. It had a really bad reputation. But anyway, so they took they put like an X on my foot where the hole was, and I'm sure that you probably pulled it out when you unthread. I'm sure when you stepped on the thread, you pulled it out. So they took an x-ray, and oh my God, there was this needle that was like laying clear up against the bone. The whole needle, you could see it, on the x-ray. So they got 2 doctors. And I'll tell you one thing, when you get a shot of Novocaine in the bottom of your foot, that fucking hurts like really bad. Like the Novocaine shots in the bottom of my foot, the dead net, were really bad. So anyway, so I'm laying on my belly, and these 2 doctors come in, and I remember one doctor asked the other one, have you ever, and they're looking at the x-ray, and like very impressed with the needle laying up against my bone. And one doctor asked the other doctor if he'd ever done anything like this before, getting a needle out of somebody. He said, I took a needle out of a German Shepherd one time. Well, this is great. So anyway, I ended up with like a bunch of stitches. Like I think I had 9 stitches on the bottom of my foot, and they had to go like clear up to the bone. And every time they got close to where it should be, it was moving. So they had to like dig around to get it out. And they got all done, and they stitched me up. And then he started telling me how I needed to like change the dressing on it every day, and like get some gauze and like clean it and wrap it up with gauze every day. And the doctor was stressing to me that I had to make sure everything stayed absolutely sterile, that I put anything, the gauze that went up against my foot and everything had to be absolutely sterile. And he's like, was stressing that a lot. And then nurse came in, and I remember the one doctor looked up, and there's a big roll of gauze up on the counter, and he looked at it, he said, and he asked the nurse, he said, is this sterile? And she said, I think so, when he used it. I was like, oh my God.
That's making absolutely sure, isn't it?
Yeah, it was interesting.
And yeah, I was thinking the same thing as Brian. They should have just used one of
They
those
should have used a
strong
magnet.
fishing magnets or something.
But yeah, so that was another surgery I had, but I don't know if that really counts as surgery or not. But I was on crutches for well over a month with that one.
I think that counts as surgery because they had to cut you open.
Yeah, they did have to cut my foot open, yep. And all the way to the bone. I can't pronounce that either, Rich. Hydrocephalus.
Hydrocephalus. Fluid on the brain.
Huh?
Fluid on the brain. My old man had it over a year ago. He had a mild case of it, and it really affected his mobility. And it also, that automatic reaction that babies have where their arms fly out and their legs fly out when they react to certain stimuli.
Yeah.
He would, it's almost like a panic reaction. So anything unexpected with his mobility, his arms would fly straight out to the side to sort of, in a panic mode, to stop him falling over or something like that. But thankfully that dwindled after a couple of months, and he got back to his mobility's still shit house, but better than it was back then, where it took 2 people to get him into the shower and whatnot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there was talk of they were going to put I can't remember what the tube was called, but they go into your brain area, and they put a drainage tube, and then they run it down into your lower abdomen.
Oh,
so the excess fluid can.
That's a long ways down.
Yeah,
that's a long one.
But yeah, they also determined that at his age, the surgery was more risk than reward. Yes, that is unfortunate, Rich, especially being born with it. But I guess that also means that you've conditioned yourself to any of the side effects of it. Maybe, hopefully.
Oh, aqueductal tube.
Aqueductal. That sounds about right. And my mum's she's deaf in one ear. She had some really bad runs of vertigo a couple of years ago.
Oh, that sucks.
And after spending 3 or 4 days in hospital with the really bad vertigo, when she came home from hospital, she realised she was deaf in one ear. And thousands of hearing tests and different hearing aids that we trialed, and none of them would work for her problem. And they determined that a cochlear implant is probably the only way to repair her ear. But again, same thing. At her age, the risk of the surgery likely outweighs the potential benefits of the surgery.
Wow. I remember my mom got like a ear infection one time, and she had vertigo problems and stuff. But I remember the doctor told her it was from, she had gotten like her ear plugged up with wax one time, and another doctor had like washed out with water, which caused the fungus in her ear, which was what caused the ear infection and the vertigo. And the doctor told her, never, ever, ever let anybody flush your ear out with water. Never.
Well, the stupid thing, Rich, about my mum's hearing is that the place where we went and did all the testing and trialing all the different doodads and whatnot, it's all government subsidized when you reach a certain age and you qualify, like as a pensioner, to get these tests and whatnot done for free. And we've told this place before that the only solution for mum is a cochlear implant, but the surgery is too risky. And this hearing joint continues to ring us and send letters saying, come in for your government subsidized hearing test. It's been a year, and stuff like that. It's like, there's, they still get the money. The hearing place gets the money from the government. So it's corruption. Corruption it is. They're just trying to get these old people to come in for meaningless tests so they still get paid by the government.
Yep. There is, I've heard of a lot of doctors here doing that too, and every once in a while they get caught and get in trouble, but they'll bill the Medicare, which is insurance for healthcare for old people, and I've heard of doctors that will like bill Medicare for like treatments and stuff that never happened and stuff like that to get more money from the government.
Yes, I'm eagerly awaiting the next time they ring so I can get on the phone and give them a blast. Because it's annoying and they're just scamming.
Yeah. It happens when my dad had lung cancer and he was dying, but when he was in the hospital, he had really good insurance. Teamster, he was a truck driver and he had Teamsters insurance, and Teamsters insurance is one of the best in the United States. And I remember my mom looking at the bill and said that there was like doctors that would come in, just like step in the door and say, and look at this chart, say, hi, how are you? And then they would charge for a consult.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because like I say, he had really good insurance, and that was happening quite a bit. So
yes, Rich, that is lucky. Doctors are like mechanics. Once you find good ones, you try and stick with them as long as you can.
Yeah. Because you know what they call the guy who finished last in medical school?
Still a doctor.
Doctor. Yep. That's it.
I heard a funny story yesterday. I believe it occurred in India, where there's a couple, a man and a woman. They're both in med school, and the lady of the couple was, "G'day, TJ."
Hey, hi.
She was struggling with a particular course, and she had an exam coming up on it, and they'd worked out between themselves that the boyfriend would dress up in drag and go and do the exam in her place, and they got
Oh my
sprung on
gosh.
each other.
That's kind of sad.
Yes. Yes, it makes you wonder about, because we have lots of Indian doctors in Australia, but you know, how are they all cheating on their exams? Who can tell? Oh, I can agree with that, Brian. I'm very similar. I barely graduated high school as well, but I don't consider myself to be a dimwit. I don't know how high my IQ is, though.
I have no idea either. I know that I never studied for tests or anything because if I pay attention and listen, I'll remember. And especially, you know, like I used to take notes in classes that would, you know, like modern problems and stuff. That it told us to make sure we take notes because the class we're going to be from his lectures in class, not from any book. But if I write something down, I'm going to remember it. So I never really studied because, like I say, if I write it down, I'll remember it and don't have to look at the notes again. It's more sad that she can be mistaken for her boyfriend dressing up in drag. That's true. Blackie, no, he's.
I've been there
I
a couple
won't
of
say
times.
he never has because I think I've seen him one time on there, but he's not a regular on.
Yeah, I've been in and watched a few videos here and there. Crikey. I just aspirated some of my drink. It's never fun.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's what was I can't even remember what podcast I was listening to where they were talking about it, but yeah, they went on to talk about couples that look similar. That if, you know, the male and female or either member look like each other, they should break up straight away because you just shouldn't be, you know, with someone that looks like you. I guess you had to be there to enjoy the conversation.
I've seen some photographs like on Facebook and stuff of couples that look alike, and they were kind of scary.
Narcissist much?
Well, I don't know. I know Tucker has a super high IQ. Actually, I had a teacher tell me that taught all of my kids, and she told me that my kids should probably have all been in classes for like gifted kids, but they didn't have them in the school that they went to.
Mm. Oh, who was it? Skitty Nonna, I think it was, before, asked how Sarah's going. She's she's been having worse humidity up at her house than here, and she's up in the bloody mountains. Doesn't make sense. She's had I think there hasn't been a single day in the last week where the humidity hasn't been in the high 90s.
Oh my gosh, that's miserable. That is
It's
absolutely miserable.
so gross. And
Yes.
she's only got the one room in her house with the air conditioner in it. I mean, it's a decent big-sized air conditioner, so she could probably open the doors up and close off a certain section of her house and make a larger section cold, but she's more concerned about power use. Doesn't want to waste the electricity.
Yeah.
I've had mine running pretty much 24/7 for the last week. Oh no, I tell a lie. I switched it off yesterday morning for a couple of hours because the outside unit is on the tin roof that I sit out underneath outside, and it rattles the shit out of the roof quite fiercely. I actually have to get back up there and put some yoga mats underneath the feet or something to pad it so it doesn't vibrate the whole roof. It sounds like a bloody plane taking off.
So how is your mom doing?
Yeah, she's been much better the last couple of days after her bouts of nastiness. Her mobility's much better and pain's a lot less. Fuck, I forgot to get those drugs too. Mental note, get oxys. Yeah, I do have to be careful up there, Nonna, because I have a thing. When I bend over forwards, I get like really dizzy.
Oh
My whole
no.
head starts to spin, and I can. I've never tested it fully, but yeah, I can actually pass out from bending over, and I don't know what's happening, whether it's all blood rushing to my head or if it's a neurological thing.
I have a little bit of trouble too, bending over and picking stuff up off the floor. If I drop something on the floor, I look at it for a little bit and wonder if I really need it or not.
Yeah.
Or can it just stay on the floor forever? But with me, it's old age. It's just part of getting old.
Yeah, well, Mum does the same thing, and I tell her quite often, if you drop something on the ground, it's much safer just to leave it there until I can pick it up for you. Yeah, a couple of times in the last couple of years, she's been trying to pick something up off the ground, and she just keeps going. Boom.
Yeah, I can relate. I can relate. And I can also, I used to laugh when I was younger. They had these commercials on TV, and they don't have them anymore because everybody's got their phones and stuff now. But they used to, when they used to sell medical alerts that you could push a button if you were in trouble. And they used to have these commercials that, with these old people calling saying, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up." And everybody used to laugh at them. And now it's like, shit, if I fall down, I can't get up. So what I do to get up, believe it or not, is I'll scoot myself on my butt out the door and onto the porch to where I can swing my legs around down on the steps.
Yeah, right.
And then I can stand up that way. But to just get up off the floor, it ain't happening. I'm too fucking old for that. So now I understand the commercials that I used to laugh at all the time. I'm there, Blackie. I'm there.
Mum got one of those Medi alerts. I'm not sure what its branding is, but the same concept. It's monitored, and if the button's pushed, then they call my phone, and then there's two other people on there, I think, that are backup numbers in case I don't answer my phone, because I don't answer my phone very often. But I think Mum wore it for 2 days, and then it went back in a drawer, never to be used again.
Yeah.
And it's fucking $1,500 or something to get it.
Oh my God.
And you pay a monitoring administration fees and whatnot. And I had ladies here the other day from the company that manages their government funding for their old age, and I said potentially we should cancel that account because they could be paying a fuck ton of money out of their, monthly budget for something that's not even being used.
Yeah.
And, could possibly sell it on to someone else. But that's good remindering too. It came with one of those key safes, like a little, looks like a padlock. It's got a combination lock on it, so you can, store your house key outside. That was probably the most handy thing that came with that device. I mean, obviously the device itself would be quite handy, but it must be used to be handy. But yeah, I must find that key safe up and use it for something nefarious. Anyway, I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you have trouble like bending over and picking stuff up too now, Nona? It's like it's sad to get old. It's like, yeah. I can say I used to laugh at the commercials and stuff, and now it's like, oh my God, I'm there. I am totally there. What? Don't bark at the cat. He'll get you. He'll get you. You'll be sorry. Oh, that sucks, Nona. I've never had that happen, but I'll get like dizzy when I bend over to pick something up. I've got to make sure that I'm close enough to like put a hand on the wall or a shelf or something. And sometimes I'll leave it for a little while because sometimes it's worse than other times. Like sometimes I can bend over and pick something up, and other times it's like I don't dare do it. Are you talking about being in school? Yeah, school can be boring, TJ. You must be behind in the chat because I think he said that quite a long time ago. So you are probably behind in the chat. I remember one time my mom gave me all my old report cards and I just like laughed and tossed them out. But I remember like all my report cards from when I was in grade school that say that I like daydreamed. I spent all my time daydreaming. She's a good student, but she spends a lot of time staring out the window and daydreaming.
And what was my one? It was either focus or apply. If he applied himself, he'd be a much better student.
Yeah.
I was just naturally lazy, and laziness breeds efficiency.
What I get bored with, and I still did even like in later years, like taking a few classes. Like I remember I was on unemployment and I had to take a class on how to do make a resume and stuff. It was part of like being on unemployment. I had to take this class to keep getting my unemployment. So, and I remember sitting there. I mean, it's so basic and such simple stuff. And like finally the teacher said the class was over, and then these people started raising their hands and asking the most god-awful stupid questions, and I just wanted to like just sitting there wanting to scream because I just wanted to get out of there. It's like, oh my God, people, really? And I remember I took a class. I went to the community college. This was about the same time I was unemployed. So I took a class on basic computer because I'd never used a computer before. So it was like your basic computer 101 thing. And then word processing. I took a class on word processing. And both of these were like self-progressing classes where they gave you a book and you did chapter by chapter. Then there was a test at the end of each chapter that you took on the computer, and then at the end of the book you had to get like the main test from the instructor. But other than that, that's the only time you really dealt with the instructor at all. So I would go in about 9 in the morning until about 2 in the afternoon. And I'd done all the chapters and the tests at the end of each chapter, but I had both the books done, and I needed to take the main test for each one. And I remember I told the instructor at the end of the week, I said, okay, I need to take the test now. And she's like, oh, you finished chapter 1? And I was like, no, I finished both books. I need the test for both books. So she gave me the test, and I got 100% on both of them. And then she was like, you did both these books in a week, and they are meant to be, for the average student, they're meant to take like 48 hours per book.
Chapter.
Yeah. And I did both of them and finished both books in a week. So she
And what sort of word processing was it? Like, is it the same as like what we use today?
basically, yeah. It had like your basic office stuff, that you'd use, like Excel and that type of stuff were included in it. It's been quite a few years since I took it.
When I first studied word processing, word processors weren't WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. It was basically just a black screen with your text and symbols for your formatting and whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there was a bit more tricksiness to it, doing it like that. But yeah, that was a really shit course, because there was a graphic design element to that course as well. Didn't use computers at all. It was all cutting stuff out of magazines and creating physical products and stuff instead of actually computer work that everything graphic design is done on nowadays. And so yeah, that was a bit lame. I think they were well overdue to update their curriculum.
Yeah. Well, I know when I finished that class with the 2 books, that the instructor said, please don't leave yet. And she went and got like the main college person, executive or whatever, and they came and talked to me, and they wanted me to take like a nursing course, like to be a nurse, because what I was aiming for at that time, which I didn't end up doing, was like a medical translator. And anyway, they wanted me to take like nursing course, and they told me that I could probably, like, it's supposed to be like a 4-year course, but they said that I could probably skip a lot of the classes by challenging them. And then if you challenge a class, they give you the test that's given at the end of the class. And if you can pass it without taking the class, you get credit for the course. So that's what they wanted me to do, but I wasn't really too interested in it, so I didn't. So, yeah. And then in order to take the, I forget, it was the medical transcriber class that I did end up taking that. But in order to take that class, I had to be able to type. You had to be able to type like 70 words a minute. But I had never used a computer before. I just used typewriters because I'm fucking old, right? So I went in like the morning before I was supposed to take the test about 10 o'clock, and I went in like a couple hours early and started practicing. And I found out the typewriter and the keyboard for a computer are basically the same, except the keys are closer together on a computer keyboard than they were on the typewriter. So I just had to like not stretch my hands as far. And I was like really struggling because I hadn't even used a typewriter for years. But it's kind of like I figured out that if I don't look, which I still do this, if I don't look at the keyboard, I can type really fast. When I run into trouble is when I start looking at the keys. I just got to like look at what I need to type and type it without looking. And I do really good.
Yes, I have seen that channel, Huawei. Well, part of my course as well, you needed to learn touch typing, and you needed to pass with a certain words per minute speed. And I had been already using computers in the form of old Commodore 64 and Amiga computers, and doing programming on them and stuff. So my typing skills were already pretty good, but I was, 2 fingers on one hand and maybe 2 on the other hand, not really touch typing. And I was doing my typing that way in class, and I think I was the 3rd or 4th fastest person in the class typing that way, which was, reading the text and then looking at the keyboard, reading the text, looking at the keyboard. And yeah, I was up over 80 words per minute, I think. And one of my housemates at the time, she was fucking nuts at it. She was like 117 words a minute or something. She was,
I can type that fast.
She did it properly, just reading and smashing the keys. And
yep, that's what I do. If I look at the keyboard, I can't do it. If I don't look at it and just look at what I'm typing and just don't even think about where the letters are and stuff, then I can go really fast because it's just like ingrained into my brain.
I just figured if they had a minimum cutoff for speed, and I was making that speed with my system, they couldn't really, complain or get cranky at me about it. So I persisted and got through.
So you never learned to type without looking?
I can, because, after so many years of using keyboards, you kind of have a mental image of where all the letters are and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does quite easily occur.
It comes in handy because like my keyboard's getting old and like half of the letters are gone off the little. Yeah, so if you had to look at where the letters are, you'd be in trouble because you can't really see most of them on my keyboard. So, hey Vic, how are you?
Hey, Vic. Yeah, when I was much more into computer gaming, there was certain keys on the keyboard would always fade away before other ones, like W, A, S, and D were always the first to go, because they're the ones you use for walking around and stuff. Pardon me.
It's like rolling a joint. Once that muscle memory's down, you'll never forget it. Yeah. Oh. Tucker sent me a photograph in our chat on Facebook the other day. It was like we have a little family chat with me and the kids, but he sent a picture of like his joint rolling. But he still uses a tray that I gave him that I used to use when I was like 18 or 19. It's an old Coors tray. So it was like nostalgia looking at it, because it's like, hey, I used to use that when I was a kid. It's kind of an odd thing to pass down in the family, isn't it?
I knew a dude who could roll a cigarette one-handed while riding a motorbike.
Oh, wow.
That's bloody skill. G'day, Kragos. Huawei had to go and say it, didn't he? It's just like rolling a joint. So I'm going to roll a joint. It's past 4:20. That's cut-off time, isn't it?
Yep, yep.
How's your heat down there today, Cragos? A bit milder today, like me? Or are you still getting blasted? Rosin? What do I want rosin for? I'm not a violin player. I like a cello, though. Then I'd need rosin. Yeah, it was so nice. I mean, granted, it was probably 10:30, I think, by the time I climbed out of bed, because I knew I had a carer here this morning for the old people. But yeah, when I crawled out of bed and it was a little bit overcast and nice cool breeze blowing, it wasn't so hot. It was quite nice. But yeah, by 3:30, 4 o'clock, it started cooking again.
Blackie looks more like a drummer.
I do drums as well. My drum kit's packed away, though. I have no space for it, so it lived outside where I used to stream from. Well, where I stream from when the weather's reasonable. But yeah, was getting a little bit too weather beaten and rusty and stuff. So, and I wasn't playing it enough, so I packed it up and put it away. What I need to do is clear out one of the rooms inside the house and set up musical stuff in there. Electric drum kit, preferably. I had one of those for a little while, and they're fantastic. Still pretty noisy because you're still banging on rubber pads, but not as noisy as an analog drum kit. And then, you know, I've got a guitar as well. That's a fun instrument. A guitar. Yeah, a keyboard that you wear and play like a guitar.
Wow.
But yeah, I generally just sit it on my table to play it like a normal keyboard because it's got loads of good sounds in it, that one. Pardon me. I don't think I've got a spare strap lying around. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't have its own speakers or anything. So you've either got to use headphones or plug it into my audio interface. And even then, I've still got to use headphones, so no one would hear it anyway.
One of my kids played saxophone. She was in the jazz band, and Christmas one year, I got her like a pale pink saxophone. She used that for the jazz band concerts and stuff. And I remember sitting in the audience and hearing a kid that was like a couple rows behind me going, "Wow, Mommy, look, she's got a pink saxophone."
I think I've still got one inside. I have a friend of mine from high school. He played saxophone and he had an alto sax, and he was visiting here at my house after high school, and he was going off up to North Queensland to do fruit picking and didn't need the extra baggage of the saxophone. So I said, sure, just leave it here. It can live under my bed and get it when you come back. And he never came back for it. So I'm pretty sure it's still inside in a cupboard somewhere.
I remember Jessica, my oldest, when she was in band, I got her, I don't know if it was what she particularly wanted to play, but we were kind of broke, and I found a trumpet, a used trumpet for sale. So I got that for her. And she like tried to practice on it, and she would cry every night because she couldn't get it to play right. And she told me there was something wrong with it, and I told her there wasn't anything wrong with it. You just got to practice. You'll get it. You got to, scrunch up your lips right and stuff. And she was like getting so discouraged. And then she came home from school one day, and she told the band teacher took her trumpet from her and like was checking it out, and there was a crayon stuck in it. I felt so bad. I felt really bad, but yeah.
I played guitar in the high school orchestra, and the guitar and the bass, we would sit behind some of the brass section, the trumpets and trombones mostly, and in breaks the bass player and myself would swap instruments with some of the horn players in front of us and have turns on the trumpets and the trombones to try and learn them in the little rests and whatnot. That was always good fun. I'd love a trombone. I have to get a trombone because you can play them with your ears. It's all sliding scale, literally. Black tenor sax, divine. I bet that's sexy as. Tenor sax has the best sound, or even what's the lower one? The baritone sax. If you like your saxophone music, divine. A friend of mine has a band with his girl called Bird Flies High. They do some very cool sounding stuff. If you like Morphine, that band Morphine, I mean, everyone likes Morphine, but the band Morphine is not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, if you like that sort of stuff where the sax is sort of the main focal point of the music, check out Bird Flies High. They live in a beautiful part of the world, Tambourine Mountain. Absolute beautiful country up there. He makes chili sauces, and he's a professional chef by trade. But he's slinging sauces and chilies and whatnot around at markets and stuff. Yeah, it's a beautiful country, isn't it, Cragos? I'm having a strange feeling that Huawei has probably just posted their link. There we go. Indeed, he has.
Yep, he's always quick on them.
Oh, fuck, I'm not even subscribed. That's pretty crass of me, isn't it? I'll have to get them a bit of a boost in subscribers and get them to wonder why they've jumped up. Then, yeah, it seems like it may be only a very recent YouTube channel, perhaps, because they're on the Instagram as well and the Facebook, I believe. But yeah, they do good stuff. Yeah, I try not to use that expression, Craig. God's country. Oh, isn't every country God's country? Because he created them all on the fourth day or something, or the second day. What was the first day was light, and the second day must have been all the lands and whatnot, and then the animals. No, hang on, it was light, then drums, then guitar. Yeah? Oh no, that was Let There Be Rock. Got my stories mixed up. See what happens when I smoke a joint on stream? I get my stories mixed up. Or the alcohol might be kicking in. Oh, look at you go, Huawei. You're the best bloody link finder ever. Don't let anyone tell you any different. God made the seed-bearing herbs and called them good. Most of us probably do agree. Although my basil went to seed and I forgot to collect any of the seed and none of it self-sowed, so I'm out of basil now. Pardon me. I best go and check on that bell and I'll be back.
Okay. We got to see 1 million bats a few nights ago. It was spectacular. Ugh. Bats are good, though. Bats eat a lot of mosquitoes and stuff, so. I've lived in a lot of different places, and I think that any place you live, you can find pretty country if you like look around a bit. Except maybe Boise, Idaho. I've driven through Boise a few times, and that's pretty bad. I wouldn't want to live there. Guano. Bat crap is good for the skin, I heard. I don't know. I think bat crap is called guano, but I'm not positive about that. You like bats? There's a dry lake in Eastern Oregon called Guano Lake, and I think it's basically batshit lake. I'm going to look it up, though, because I'm not positive anymore. Guano, yep. It's the accumulated excrement of seabirds, seals, and bats. Often used as fertilizer because of its high nitrogen and phosphorus content. Guano can be dangerous when allowed to accumulate in the home. I've heard that before too. Like if you've got a lot of bats up in your attic, it can be dangerous. You don't want to breathe in that shit. Literally, you don't want to breathe in that shit.
What did I miss?
We're talking about bat crap.
Guano.
Yep, there's a dry lake in eastern Oregon called Guano Lake. I remember it because we went there one time, and we'd never been there before, and we got there like really early in the morning, and we had this old Dodge station wagon, and my dad decided to drive to the other side of the lake we were on like a dirt trail, but he decided he wanted to check out the ridges on the other side of the lake. It's a big, huge dry lake. So he just started heading across the dry lake. And it was a long ways across, but about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, the ground thawed out. And we were out in the middle of the lake. So my dad had a bad temper. And he always would get out and scream and cuss and beat on the car with a shovel and stuff. And then my mom would get like mad at him for getting mad, and she'd walk off by herself someplace. So we pushed and pushed, and there was no way we were getting to any bit of dry. There was some dry ground, but we weren't anywhere near it. So he just like set up a big tarp tied to the car and stuff for shade, and figured he would have to spend the day out in the middle of the lake and wait for the ground to freeze during the night again so we could get out of there. Meanwhile, my mom had walked off. So after a while, we see this big old truck coming across the desert, and I mean like not like a pickup truck, but a bigger truck than that, like a big farm truck. And it started getting close, and we realized that my mom was in the front seat because she'd been out walking, and this Native American guy that was like farming out there or ranching had come across her, so she told him we were stuck. So he like gave her a ride back and came to help. So like he had a big long tow chain. So they hooked it. I still remember they hooked it. Him and my dad were talking, and they hooked it up the bumper of the station wagon. Now, instead of like coming to the end of the chain and then pulling, to get to dry ground.
See you later, Dan. Thanks for hanging out, bro.
Thanks. Yeah. Hi, June. But instead of doing that, the guy like backed the truck up right against the bumper and then took off like hell. So like, but he got us out of there. He got us on dry ground. So I remember my dad gave him $20 to go buy a case of beer, and he was pretty happy. But yeah,
those were the days when you could get a case of beer for $20.
Yeah, that was a lot of years ago. Then we got back to the dirt trail on the edge of the lake where we'd started from, and we got a little bit down it, and then the station wagon just kind of like came to a stop. It wouldn't go any further. So my dad like raised the engine and looked, and the transmission hose had broke. So there was no transmission fluid in the car anymore. So he remembered about 5 miles back from where we'd come in, there was a ranch house. And then it was about 50 miles to the highway. But he remembered there was a ranch house. So we decided to walk to the ranch house and see if they had any transmission fluid or could give us a hand getting some. So we walked there. And I remember when we got to the last mile, there was like a fence around the ranch house, and they had a bunch of like young yearlings, cows, that were like fenced in there. And we had to walk through the middle of them, and they were like stampeding back and forth past us. It was like I was so scared. And I remember I was like following my dad, and I stepped on the back of his shoe, and his shoe came off, and he was so pissed at me.
Crack the shits. That temper.
Yeah. So we got to the farmhouse, and there was nobody home. It was Saturday night, and there was nobody home. So my dad had like a gas can with him, and they had like a big drum that was full of motor oil. So he filled up the gas can and left a note and some money on their porch, on their door. And we walked back with the motor oil, and he poured the motor oil in the transmission, enough to get us out of there. So we got back to the highway, and by this time it was nighttime. And we got to the closest gas station, and they were closed because it was nighttime. So he just like parked in the gravel driveway, and we all tried to just sleep in the car and get some sleep. And early in the morning, the guy came and opened up the gas station. So my dad pulled up to the gas pump to fill it up with gas and stuff, and he went in and he bought, like, the guy had like a case of transmission fluid, so he bought all that. And yeah, he filled up the transmission with the transmission fluid, and we all use the bathroom and stuff. And we go and start to pull out, and the guy comes out and starts screaming at us because the transmission fluid, as my dad had poured it in, it was still leaking out. So it, like, his nice cement pad at the gas pump was covered with pink transmission fluid. So he comes out and he's screaming at us, and I was like 14, and he like points to me and he yells at me, and he told me to go. He said, "You guys aren't pulling out of here. You're going to clean this up." And he says, "You go to the girls' bathroom and get the trash can and dump the paper towels all over this and get it cleaned up." So I went and got the trash can and took the lid off of it. It was a big trash can, right? It was almost full. And I like dumped it onto his cement pad, and it was full of Kotex pads. And I'm just like standing there staring at the Kotex pads that were all over his cement pad. And the guy looks at me, he says, the guy looks at me and says, "Just get the hell out of here. You guys just get the hell out of here right now." So we got in the car and took off. And we found out that the transmission fluid was going to leak out no matter how fast you'd go or anything. So my dad would like fill it up with transmission fluid and go like hell till it started running out. And then he would like pull over and fill it up again. And we'd stop at gas stations all the way and buy all the transmission fluid, right? Jeez. So that's how we got home. But what was funny was as he'd like drive like hell, and this was like, it was Sunday, so there was a lot of people that were on the highway heading home and stuff, and he would like pass these long lines of cars, and the transmission fluid was coming out the edges of the hood. It was like spraying on the windshields of cars as we were going by, and we were passing the same cars over and over again, because he'd like go like hell till it ran out and pull over and fill it up, and cars go past us again. And after a couple times, they'd see us coming, and everybody would pull over on the shoulder. So that was quite the trip.
It's crazy that he didn't like consider getting some duct tape or something and going underneath and sealing up the hose.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, but yeah, we just drove home that way
because he was running on fumes.
Home. But then the next weekend we went out arrowhead hunting again, and it was really hot. It was really hot. And this is going to sound like I made it up, but I'm not making this up. So the next weekend we go out again, and we got stuck in some mud. And we were like right at the edge of this valley, and we got stuck, and we were all like pushing, trying to get out and stuff. And these guys flew over us in like a small airplane, and they landed in the valley and walked back over and helped us push the car out. Which I know that sounds weird, but it happened. So, and it was really hot. And we had to push pretty hard to get the car, this whole station wagon out of the mud. And what had happened is the weekend before, when we drove home with the transmission fluid spraying out, it had also soaked in the station wagon. It had like all the wiring and stuff was in the hood, had all these wires and stuff, and surrounded by foam. And all that foam had like soaked up all this transmission fluid. So when the engine got really hot from us pushing it out, that caught on fire.
Jesus Christ.
So the guys are like walking back to their plane, and there's smoke rolling out of the hood. And my dad's grabbed the fire extinguisher, and he's like putting everything out with the fire extinguisher. And I saw the guys that had just helped us were just about back to their plane, and they looked back and watched for a minute. They just kind of shook their heads and got in their plane and took off. So my dad told us to just keep our fingers crossed, because he put the fire out, but all the wire on the firewall and everything was just bare. It was just all bare wires. Like
good times.
Bare wires, yeah. So he told us to just cross our fingers, and the car started, and we drove home without ever turning the car off. So that week he went to the car lot to get another car. Right? I found out something, which I don't know if this trick still works, but he this Dodge station wagon, we had like taken it out in the desert so many times, and my dad drove it like it was a 4-wheel drive, like through the brush and everything. And there was no paint left on the bottom, on the sides of the car. I mean, it was all scraped off from sagebrush. And underneath of it was all beat to hell from hitting rocks and stuff. And the gas tank had holes in it that we found out that you could plug up with chewing gum, and then he'd plug up the holes in the gas tank with chewing gum, and then he'd tape over them with electrical tape so the sagebrush wouldn't scrape it right off again. And then of course,
where was that bloody innovation when the transmission pipe was leaking?
Yeah, and if you raise the hood, all the wiring was just bare, right? So he took it in and traded it in, and they never raised the hood. They never raised the hood, looked at it or anything, and he got a good price for it. But he traded it in for a Jeep Wagoneer, and that thing was a piece of crap. I mean, it was his first 4-wheel drive, and he was proud of it, but oh my God, that was the biggest piece of crap in the world.
When he
it was really bad.
When
thing I remember, one more bit to this story, and then I'll shut up. The first trip out there with this Jeep Wagoneer, and I mean the very first trip, and my dad parked the car, and we were going to get out and hunt this area for arrowheads, and he slammed his door when he got out, and the window pane fell out and dropped into the door, right? So we had to stop while he fixed it, and he had to take the whole panel off the door to get inside of it and put the glass back on the runner thing, and roll the window back up, and then carefully, put the lining back on the inside of the door again, and all that crap. And he got all done, and we were just sitting in the car waiting for him. And he got all done and climbed in the car and shut the door, and all 4 windows fell out. All 4 window panes dropped out at once.
And I believe it's not mistaken of me to say that Jeep still maintains this integrity these days with the quality of their product. I had to look up a Jeep Wagoneer to see what they look like.
It was
what year did you say?
Huh?
Like 70s, 80s, somewhere around there?
It must have been like in the 70s, yeah. It was an old one.
Did it have wood paneling on the side?
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon the picture that I brought up is probably exactly like the one that you had.
Probably, yeah. And the other thing, hi Travis.
Yeah,
the other thing with that Wagoneer, oh my God, that thing was a piece of crap. But there was this one place where we went where we had to drive across a dry lake about 5 miles across it to get back to where we would go and hunt arrowheads. And when it was dry, it was an alkali lake. So when alkali is dry, you end up with a coating of like 2 or 3 inches of white powder, which raises quite a dust cloud behind you when you drive across it. Well, that Jeep Wagoneer, we went to drive across that dry lake, and the dust, that white powder started coming up in every crack in the door and underneath the floorboards. And like we all had to like take handkerchiefs and cover up our faces so we could breathe. And I mean, it was just like, it was not airtight. It just was not airtight at all. It was a piece of crap. When we got to the end of the dry lake, we looked at each other and started laughing because we all looked like, we had white eyelashes and white hair. Yeah.
And then your dad regretted getting that car because he could do more in the previous old wagon that was a little bit hardier.
Yep.
Gotcha. What was the first one? A Dodge something or other, was it?
A Dodge station wagon, yeah.
Yeah. They don't build them like they used to.
And I can still close my eyes and see the bumper of that because he would like yell at us kids, and instantly we would be outdoors and on the back bumper pushing. And I could still close my eyes and see that damn bumper of that station wagon. We didn't have 4-wheel drive. We had kids.
4-leg push.
Yep. There's a couple. Yeah, alkaline is what batters used to be made of. I think it was used to make like borax soap too, because there was a couple like factories for borax soap around the dry lakes. But a lot of the dry lakes in eastern Oregon and eastern Washington too have like alkaline.
It's also a very broad term for a lot of different chemicals. Can be alkaline chemicals and have alkaline properties.
Well, I remember one time when I was living in eastern Oregon, eastern Washington, and actually TJ, I don't know if she's still here or not, but TJ and her husband stopped by to see me. And there was down the road about a mile or so, there was a couple old ice caves where the original homesteaders and stuff would go into these caves and chip out blocks of ice for their ice boxes to keep their food cold. And the government had they didn't want people going into these caves anymore, and they had like collapsed them and like blocked the openings of them, but you could still go and like put your hands on the rocks. It was like ice cold air coming out of them. But anyway, to get back to show them this, I had we had to walk through a little dry lake area, and I told them to be careful because I said, there's alkali on top, but it was a little bit damp. So when it's dry, it's like powder, but when it's wet, it's like grease. So you have to be real careful and not fall. And as soon as I said the word fall, I was on my ass. It was like, like that, Yeah.
That's when you should have bought a lotto ticket. You can predict the future as it's happening.
Yeah, I knew that because we got stuck if the alkali was damp, it's just like grease, and we had to do a lot of pushing when we would get into wet alkali.
It was at that moment that Pam realized why her father had kids.
Yes.
Laborers.
Yep.
Yes, that was my childhood too. Labourer. Go and be forced to stand beside my dad in the garage waiting for the next job to be issued. Yeah, well, I was wrong. I'm allowed to be wrong once in a while.
And the other reason that you have kids that used to have kids is the old TVs didn't have remotes.
So someone had to go and either slap the side,
change the channel, yeah.
or bang on the side to make it.
The kids were the remotes.
God, I remember in my first share house, we didn't even have a remote control TV there, but just it wasn't a dial one though. It had buttons on it. So we had this like 3.5 meter long piece of dowel that we would sit on the futon mattress folded up against the wall and poke the TV channels with this dowel from a distance. It wasn't very accurate, and you'd quite often miss the channel that you wanted to hit because there was only 4 or 5 channels at the time. So I think maybe 8 buttons on the TV, and only 5 of them were actual channels. And if you missed too many times, you'd just go, "Oh, fuck it, we're watching this."
Yep.
Pardon me.
I remember when I was a kid, we got the first color TV in our neighborhood.
Ooh, the rich people on the street.
TV guide. Remember the TV guides? Used to have a TV guide tell you what shows were coming up and stuff. And at that time, when we got the color TV, everything was still black and white. I mean, they got a color TV when there was still everything was black and white, but there was a movie coming up, the first color movie on TV, which was The Wizard of Oz.
And they trick you with the first 22 minutes.
Oh, that's exactly right. I remember we all sat down to watch this color movie, the first one, right? And my dad was cussing up a storm because it was in black and white. Oh.
That was very impactful, because when the color did come in, that was a shit ton of color all of a sudden. That would have blown people's minds.
Yep, and that was the first color movie that had come on since we'd gotten the color TV. I think if I remember right, I think there was a few color commercials, but all the TV shows and everything were in black and white.
Yeah, we had Married with Children. Wow, wait. That was quite popular here as well. Actually, I was listening to a dude tell a story on a podcast. I listen to so many stories on podcasts, don't I? Was at an awards ceremony. Who was the dude though? Christina Applegate went to this awards ceremony with Brad Pitt, but she left the awards ceremony with the dude being interviewed. Fuck, who was that? I can't remember which podcast I listened to recently. Famous-ish American guy, I guess. Oh, yeah, I know who it was. It was Sebastian Bach, lead singer of Skid Row. As one of his claims to fame is that he stole Christina Applegate from Brad Pitt. It was a pretty terrible digression, that one. Sorry. Cheryl Temple. Do you mean Shirley Temple, Divine?
Yep, Shirley Temple.
On the good ship, Lollipop.
I remember those movies. We're watching Shirley Temple, and I think one of my favorite TV shows, it was a little black and white TV show, was Leave It to Beaver. I used to watch that. Most people in here probably never heard of that because it was an old TV show.
We used to get reruns of it when I was like really young, but I can't say I remember watching it much. But there's a certain few things that pop up quite frequently in crosswords about Leave It to Beaver. So
Oh, really?
most of my knowledge from Leave It to Beaver comes from crosswords. Like their surname's Cleaver. That's quite often. And he had a catchphrase or something that quite often pops up, but that one's escaping my memory right now.
And the parents slept in twin beds, fully clothed in like pajamas up to their neck.
Look, don't get me wrong. Some things from the olden days should still be a thing, you know.
The Brady Bunch was the first sitcom to show a toilet. It might have been because in the old sitcoms, like they didn't show a lot of stuff. It was like the people didn't do stuff like go to the bathroom and stuff. That just wasn't the.
I believe Hitchcock's Psycho was the first movie to ever show a toilet flushing. And Friends was the first TV show to talk about periods.
Oh, okay.
Again, facts I've learned from crosswords. Who knows if they're true?
The Flintstones was the first cartoon to show during prime time.
And it was the longest running cartoon until The Simpsons took their perch. Ran for a long time.
I think June is going to be doing a live stream, so when Blackie gets back, we'll probably tell everybody good night. Because I think June is going to be having her live stream in 10 minutes. And I've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes, basically, so.
So that is your real name, is it, Brian? Or are you just some drug-addicted dog, eh? With scruples.
Woody Woodpecker was my favorite. I remember Woody Woodpecker. I used to like the Wile E. Coyote was my favorite cartoon.
I gave one of my sons has Wiley as a middle name, but it's not spelt the same way as the coyote. It's Wiley.
Yeah.
Because two of my sons, we went a little bit nuts and gave them two middle names. And then one of them missed out and just got one tiny little middle name. We tried to offset it, counterbalance it.
Are you going to play something for us and sing?
No, just keep picking up this ukulele because that's a tune that I wrote years ago. But for about the last 18 months, I couldn't remember two of the chords in it. And I've only just reworked them out in the last week or so. So when I feel the mood, I pick it up so I can make sure I don't forget those chords again.
Ah.
And, you know, people were hassling me about all the musical instruments on display, yet I wasn't playing them. So I also felt I needed to prove that I could actually play something at least. When I played that though, did it distort at all? Like when I'm on my other microphone and I play guitar or ukulele, it tends to clap out and sound shit.
I think it sounds good.
Good stuff, right? Let's do this one then. But tell me if I make distortion and stuff, and we'll try and get out of here before Jean's show starts. Hang on. Now I'm forgetting these chords as well. I'll remember them, I promise. When I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Here's what he said. It's right, wherever we'll be. Future's not ours to see. It's the route. What will be, will be. That's all you need, isn't it? Just one verse. Plus, like, what's the second verse? When I grew up. And then now that I'm older, yeah, anyway. 3 stages of life. Great song, but I've been playing that one a little bit to myself, but I don't sing it often enough. Huawei, that's a conscious decision that I often, as I'm singing in my own mind, I give myself a little bit of shit when I do lose it. And there's certain words that I forget to maintain my accent. And when I do that, to be honest, I do get a little bit cranky at myself because I try and make a conscious decision to sound Australian when I'm singing and stuff. Thanks, Divine. One day I'll do the whole song. I've got the lyrics written down somewhere. I'll find them and I'll do the whole song for everyone if it works. I'm working on another one too that I want to get right. It's a Guns N' Roses song, but I want to do it very, very differently to the original one. All right, we should piss off so Jean can start her show and we won't cut her grass.
Yep, we better go. So I am going to stream tomorrow night, guys. I have to. It's the first of the month, and I have to sell something.
And yeah, all of the Frosty gang that came over, thanks heaps for coming over, and come back again tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody come back tomorrow, and thank you everybody for coming in, and thank you as always, Sam, for being the best mod ever. And we will see everybody hopefully tomorrow night. I hope everybody comes back tomorrow night. Good night, guys.
See you all, and congrats, Brian, on your hawk.
Yeah. Yep. Night, guys.